Do I regret Kinich? Now, the short answer is no, not at all. But the long answer is C0 really was not worth it, alright? Like, we have possibly a, great Geo character coming out. She's going to give at least 40% damage bonus to the other characters. And I personally will be going specifically for C2R1 Shilonin. And that is a crazy thing to do. Now, why would I summon on Kinich if I wanted to do that? If I had only gotten C0 Kinich, I would absolutely hate this. I actually feel like if I didn't get C1 Kinich, I would have absolutely been so dogging on Kinich, because at C0, he feels really underpowered. Now, you might be asking no, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. You have to understand that I'm using characters with their weapons. Not him, apparently. Okay. Who did I give his weapon? Nobody. He just got removed from his weapon. So, we have this guy. So, I'm so used to using characters on launch when they have their weapons, or even possibly a couple constellations. So, when a character... Really, Java update? Alright, thanks. But when a character gets C0 and they feel underwhelming to me, that's just kind of natural, because nowadays, constellations can make a character seem, insane, right? I'm telling you, this is a 50% damage boost to his E-skill for me, right? That is a huge damage boost for this guy. It obviously depends on your build, because you could have 250% crit damage on a C0 build, right? And it looks way better than what I was using. But for me personally, I would have hated Kinich at C0. I would have absolutely been like, this guy's underpowered. He's fun to play, but he's underpowered, right? It's always going to be the case. I have Sinyun, her weapon still. I have all of this stuff, and I invest into my characters pretty decently, right? I do not sit here and just go oh, no, we don't have, this is the least invested recent 5-star that I have of, right? Because even Fiorina now has her C1, right? So... it's very common, but I would say Chloride at C0 compared to Kinich C0 with both 5-star weapons. I had Red Horn on Kinich. And then Haran at C0, absolutely, Kinich stood no chance. Chloride was better. It's just, there's no chance. And then Nahida would be another example of just I don't have invested in. But the thing is, she's just so broken at C0 that you don't really need that kind of investment, right? And then Fiorina, we already went over that. Nevi, I have his weapon, no C1 sadly, but I do have his weapon. Arlecchino, my favorite character in the game, C1, R1, right? Absolutely dominant, because she, that is why she's my favorite character. She is, that. So when I said Kinich looked completely underwhelming, it was because I have so many other characters that I compare. And at C0, the dude just did not feel like I was using a character, I'm going to be honest. The low amount of damage he was doing, I was like, come on. Every single time I used him, I kind of just felt worse. But then after C1 popped, man, this guy's fun. He absolutely is super fun. I get the extra 30% movement speed. I get all this stuff for exploration. So I get that for exploration. And then he's also hitting 300,000 on all of his hits and stuff. It's insane, and I love it, right? He's a great character. And then, don't forget that Kinich, as a character, is probably going to be buffed by the Pyro Archon, and I do think that the Pyro Archon, she has to do something with her Night Soul Burst. I refuse to believe that the Pyro Archon comes out and she doesn't manipulate Night Soul Burst in any way, shape, or form. There is absolutely no way that they're just going to let this passive rock, right? To clarify why this is so weird to me, is because you get Hunter's Experience, it lasts for 15 seconds, but you can only get a Night Soul Burst with one Natlin character in your party every 18 seconds. Not even 15. It's 18 seconds. Then it goes down to 12. Then it goes down to 9, I believe. Yep, we can see it right here. 18, 12, 9 seconds between 1, 2, and 3 Natlin characters. So I believe that we may see, the Pyro Archon possibly sit here and give us, that second one. Then we have 12. Now, okay, sure. Now you can actually stack it, right? But at the same time, you can't, because as soon as you use Kinich's E-skill, you lose all stacks. So there's no way that you would ever wait 12 seconds to gain a second stack for it to ever matter that you got that. And Mulaney has this too. So I'm very assuming that the Pyro Archon is definitely going to have some manipulation of this, because getting 2 stacks when you're actually playing the game is actually impossible. I don't see a world where this is just going to stay like this and they're going to have to release the characters like that. It's so weird, because the main way you do damage with these characters consumes the stacks that get from this. So it's it makes no sense why they would even have a second stack be able to be gotten, other than maybe, you know, Pyro Archon sits there and she's like, oh, I'm just gonna be in party and always have you a Night Soul Burst, you know, applied. That is a possibility, which then makes me think that, hey, Kinich might be looking a lot better. So it's another reason why. Because I don't think that we're looking at Kinich at his full power right now. I don't. Maybe in Abyss, right? Because Abyss is giving a massive buff to this guy. Maybe in Abyss, we're seeing closer to what he is looking like and what he is doing. But overall, I would not say we're close to his power. If you're in the overworld and you're disappointed by his performance, I'm going to be honest, Pyro Archon might just completely wash that away and fix it. I don't even think it's a question. I think that's just going to be what happens. Yeah. I don't really have much else to say, honestly. Like, Kinich is really fun. I mean, I get this, and then you can go ahead, and then you get the speed buff, right? Look at this speed buff. This is a massive speed buff, and you can stack it with the Animo Resonance, right? So if you're... the only issue is with Animo Resonance is that it's Animo Resonance, and you're not really going to be burning with that, right? And there's no Animo Shielder. That would be fire character. Can we get an Animo Shielder soon? Like, that would be great. So... just a flaw that Kinich has right now is that he has no crowd control. However, someone did recommend me a team of Lynette possibly buffing the attack. So it just gives you the movement speed. All right, so let's see. Let's buff. All right. Yeah. So you can see how fast we're moving. I mean, you could stack it up a little more, but I mean, yeah, dude, it's really nice to have this. You know, we do. If the Pyro Archon comes out and she's super easy to play, this might be a genuine team. You know, doesn't really matter. You could put Venti in there and then Kazuha as your other characters. But overall, absolutely. But yeah, for exploration, the dude's amazing. Like, and he's also just incredibly fun to play. Just, I love his sliding gameplay. It can screw you over sometimes because sometimes you're like, you know, the boss will spawn way far out of Bennett's ring, which is another reason why people don't really like Kinich right now. You know, Bennett ring, if the boss is outside of there and you have to be close to the boss to do damage, it is very sad. And then people who do think that, you know, Pyro Archon may end up being a replacement for Bennett, I implore you to realize that if the Pyro Archon applies Pyro off field and is like Bennett, we're just going to be using 2 Bennetts. Bennett's not getting off this team anytime soon. I'm sorry, Kinich mains, right? The best we can hope for is that the Pyro Archon does exactly the same as Bennett, so that way we can just, you know, get Bennett off the team. She'll probably apply Pyro off field just due to Mualani and Kinich needing that character, right? We do not have a super good character for Pyro off field right now. And I do think that the Pyro Archon's going to come out and absolutely just slap Xiangling out of her role. She's not going to have a role anymore. She's going to be disowned. Everything about, you know, like Xiangling will be the worst character in the game by far. Not really. Like, you know, I just imagine, but I do feel like, you know, that is what we're missing, and that's definitely what the Pyro Archon is going to offer, because Genshin, they are really good when it comes to designing Archons as support characters. I mean, we had Nahida, Fiorina, and then now we're going to have the Pyro Archon. We had Zhongli. Venti was really good when he, you know, first came out, but then obviously we got heavier enemies in Abyss. Now he's kind of just a fraud option, right? You can only really use him in, like, effectively in, like, one chamber at best, and then you're kind of throwing your hands up, like, Venti, I don't really want to run Venti anymore. Yeah. But Venti was really good when he came out, so I assume the same is going to be for Pyro Archon. Assuming that she's not a DPS, it would be weird if she's a DPS considering how badly Kinich and Mualani need the Pyro application, right? So yeah, overall, I think that's all I really have to say for this, because, I mean, it's just as simple as really good at C1, underpowered, you know, didn't really feel that great at C0, you know, and one big thing is that he doesn't really have a weapon option that is, like, super close to his signature. That is one thing. It's not like we're gonna have, I mean, we could possibly. We could see another option come out and it could be really comparable to the signature, right? I don't think comparable, but, like, at least a little bit worse, but, like, not as worse as every single other option, because I'm gonna be honest, guys, this is absolutely the biggest gap I think I've ever seen in terms of weapon, right? You could say Emily because of the way that she wants her energy and stuff. It could really hinder you not to have her weapon, but that's more of an energy issue, whereas Kinich is just a raw damage issue. Like, you're going to do more damage with this weapon, right? So yeah, but overall, I really do like the character, and I think I don't regret him, although that's only because I got C1. If I had gotten C0 in that multi, I would be honest, I was like, that's not worth it considering Shilonin's next update. It's not. But thankfully, I did get C1, so yeah, I like him. And hopefully Pyro Archon, I mean, I'm assuming Pyro Archon's going to make him a lot better, But if Pyro Archon does become a lot better, then it's going to really turn this guy into like one of the better DPSs in the game. I don't think he's top tier right now. I think he's just really fun good, right? I don't think he's like in the question for like being a mid character. I think he's definitely, I would say he's definitely better than C1 Risley, I would honestly say. Like I don't think C1 Risley compares. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Make sure to subscribe and I will see you guys next time. Bye.